Hello, Virgo friends. I'm Annie Botticelli, and welcome to my Virgo August 2024 Astrology Horoscope Forecast. I'm calling the theme of this month for Virgos power of passion, purpose, and persuasion. And I'll explain why I'm saying that as we get deeper into this report. I'm going to weave for you the stories of the potentials of the stars for this time to help you make the most of all of what you have available to you. This is for you if Virgo is your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising sign, or any other Virgo placement you're listening for. What I'm going to talk about here is part of your astrological picture. And if you're a very late degree Virgo friend, so September 15th birthdays through the rest of the sign, or 23 degrees Virgo through the rest of the sign, I suggest you additionally listen to my Libra report, as your very late degree friends will benefit from both readings. There are so many things to discuss. I'm just going to hit the summary of what we're going to cover, and then we'll dive into it, and I will go in order of how long lasting those potentials are and the potential outcomes are so that we can build up to the big storylines. So we're going to talk about how the sun and Venus and Vesta and the new moon and Mercury in retrograde in Leo can manifest for you. Then, of course, as the planets start to move into Virgo, it's Virgo time. So we're going to get into what that means and what you can do with it. We're also going to talk about that second blue moon in a consecutive month, which is very unusual. That can only happen because there's more than one definition of what a blue moon is. So we've got a blue moon, super moon, full moon, Aquarius that we will discuss. We also have eclipse season beginning again because even though the eclipses aren't until September and October, this is eclipse season, which starts 4 to 6 weeks before the first eclipse. And you have to pay special attention because you might not know this, but I'll tell you right now, we have a new eclipse cycle. We've been dealing with the Aries Libra eclipse cycle, which is still running its course. But we have a new eclipse cycle, which is a Pisces Virgo eclipse cycle that can radically change your life between now and 2027 when this is going to take effect. So we're going to start to give you some introduction into what you can expect there and what the heck is going on. And then all of this is happening underneath the web of Mercury retrograde. So as usual, it's a very full month. I try to give you as many details as possible while still keeping it usable. So let's just get right into it. If you want to have the visuals, I will drop those in at the end. So just stay tuned with me till the end if you want to see the visual representation of the things I'm discussing on the chart. So the sun, Vesta, Venus, Mercury in retrograde, and the new moon in Leo on August 4th at 12 degrees is all bringing massive amount of fire energy. This is exuberance, vitality, excitement, romance, things having to do with children, creative spirit, leadership, drama, for better or worse, pride and self-expression. All of these are very strong at this time, and you may find that you're particularly creatively inspired because not only can these Leo energies bring that, they're also congregating within your 12th house, which is one of your most creative spaces. It's the wellspring of creative spirit that you have. So you may find yourself wanting to hole up and just deeply express, all of these feelings or inspirations that are coming through you. And that would be perfect use of the energy. So while Leo can be very outward and extroverted, it is congregating in this area that is like your quiet, hidden space. And we are in a Mercury retrograde, so you might be dialing some things inward and backward. This is a great time for personal pursuits. And, it's basically a fantastic time to get more in touch with what lights you up. Now, specifically for Virgo, this lights up your 12th house. And this is the end of the cycle through the zodiac, which I'll show you when I show you the visuals later. 1 through 12 of the zodiac wheel at the 12th point here all congregates before your birthday. Or if you're watching for your Virgo rising or Virgo moon, this happens before the sun crosses over that Virgo point. Okay, so it's a cyclical thing. And this is the point of quiet inward reflection that helps you to make better use of the wishes and intentions you're about to have on your birthday or when the sun crosses over your Virgo point. So sometimes this reveals anxieties or fears or patterns that are not working. This can reveal karmic gunk, that is interfering with things in your life, muddying up your clarity, any way around it. The things that happen now, the more deeply you dive into exploring those rather than trying to avoid them, the more profoundly you can become reborn as all these planets move over that ascendant line into this, this new way of being. So, wow, yeah, so that's a big deal, right? So, deep inner work, meditation, prayer, psychological processes, EMDR, NLP, EFT, you can look these up, anything with trauma clearing, artistic therapies, animal therapies, nature therapy, anything like that, where you just get in touch with those rhythms, those patterns that are discordant within you to help bring about new coherence and brightness in your life. So, as all of these move from that space of the collective unconscious into your first house, this is the rebirth pattern. And not only do we have the sun, which is a cyclical thing around this time of year, all of this goes on, but we also have star goddess Vesta, we also have Venus, and we have Mercury in retrograde. Okay, so Mercury starts out in Virgo, crosses back over into Leo, and then we'll cross back again over Virgo when it goes direct. So this is a really critical point. This is, yes, actually. So I want to get into the powers of purpose and persuasion and passion. But right before we get there, I want to talk about Mercury retrograde in the 12th house, because this is a time when you may question everything. It's a time to question everything. And in fact, I always say that I think people can be the best at what they do if they can question it completely. If you can throw something out completely and see beyond it or see above it or see around it, you know, it's sometimes really good for us. And then we go back into the things that we believe, and either they resonate or they don't, they take on a deeper meaning. So this is a time when, Mercury retrograde in your sign, you may question everything. And this quiet space may be, a safe space to do that. So, this might be a time when you reevaluate your values, when you reevaluate how you're using your time, how you're spending your money, when you reevaluate your relationships and how you are in relationships. It's a time to redo and edit, basically anything where you go back over, regenerate, all of that. So that's what's happening here. It's very much like being the earthworm and going back over dirt to make it very fine soil that will be rich and fertile for new growth. It's a time to be the spider and let your food come to you while you deal with the things that are right in front of you. And a lot of them may be emotional things for yourself or other people. And it's a time to wait on the shore because the tides are coming in and you want to see what the tides are bringing rather than trying to push anything out to sea at this time. Now, as the month progresses and the planets get more into Virgo, they are going to start to crowd your first house, your Aries house, this baby rumping and bumping new energy, the individuation point where we spring from the cosmic consciousness, this rebirth point. And when the sun is there, when Venus in particular is there, it starts to bring you powers of passion and purpose and persuasion. We are more magnetic to people when Venus is moving through our first house. It doesn't always happen at the same time as the sun is there, but it is happening now. You may be more attractive and magnetic to love and romance. You may be more seen and recognized. If you take pictures around this time, you may find that, something is drawn out of you that you've been wanting to convey, and maybe working with a photographer that is good at that. There are certain people, that's their job, where they find a quality in someone that they're looking to express in themselves, or maybe they don't even know they have in themselves, and they bring it out on camera. This is a time where those things are becoming revealed, and you're doing your work to bring those things out. And this can have to do with your physical body and your physical health. This can have to do with, people recognizing you for what you do, and for you recognizing yourself and coming to a deeper level of healing. So all of this is profoundly positive. Now, if you're having your birthday during this time, happy birthday. You get your birthday wishes, you say them out loud, write them down, and feel them as if they've already come true. This tells your particular activating system, which is the filter in your brain, to make available to you everything in your environment, psychic and tangible, that can help you on the mission of what you're intending. And this works for intentions as well. So even if you don't get birthday wishes because you're watching for your moon or rising, you still get intentions. And the sun rules intention just like it rules, our desires. So you can set intentions for things that you want to bring about. It's a very, very powerful time when the universe is especially magnetic to your intentions. So all of that is happening. And these things are very profound, but they pass quickly. Okay, so these energies are strong and vibrant, but they pass quickly. As the month progresses from fiery Leo, we get into the discipline of Virgo, the systems, the routines, and hopefully the Leo energy will help you refurbish and redo and regenerate your daily routine. So if you have any stagnancy, if you've been bored, if you need some things to be shaken up and revitalized, then hopefully the new routines you're building will be more suitable for how you are and who you feel you are at this time. All right, so let's move on. I told you August 4th was the new moon, and that new moon can be also wishes you can have there. And the more you base your new moon wishes on the sign that they're in, so that's Leo, so the creativity and the romance and the bucket lists and the pleasures and the creative babies, the more you align with Leo topics, the more they can come into fruition. So says brilliant astrologer Jan Spiller. Anyway, okay, so the next round of things related to the moon that I want to talk about has to do with the Aquarius supermoon, full moon, blue moon. A supermoon is when it's closer and it looks bigger and its gravitational pull is greater. A blue moon is, depending on the definition of it, something that doesn't happen very often, hence the saying, once in a blue moon. It's very unusual for us to have two blue moons in a row in consecutive months as we have. July, we had a blue moon in Capricorn. The definition of that blue moon was the second full moon in a sign. It was the second Capricorn full moon in a row, and so that was a blue moon. There's also a definition of blue moon that is the second full moon in a calendar month. And there's another definition, which is a seasonal blue moon, which is astronomical, which is the third out of 4 full moons between the summer solstice and the fall equinox. And that's what this one is. And those only happen around every 33 months. So that is more rare. And that is the blue moon. So the days around August 19th, we have once in a blue moon opportunities and once in a double blue moon opportunities, as I like to say now, because we've got the double blue moon coming for you. And the ways or the layers of this include Aquarius, because it's in Aquarius, 27 degrees. So this has to do with friendships, networking, your place in a group, your place is your tribe. So fullness, completion, fruition, drama for better or worse, wonderful experiences, elucidation coming in a friendship, in a social circle, in a group, in a networking situation, something coming to fruition, technology, patents, things like that, community-based projects. Now, specifically for Virgo, this Aquarius supermoon, once in a blue moon, is happening in your 6th house of health and wellness and pets and animals and your daily routine, which is all the stuff that is ruled by Virgo. So this is actually your Virgo house. So not only is your Virgo energy being accentuated by the fact that all these planets are moving through Virgo, also star goddess Estrella is there too. But, oh yeah, and star goddess Juno is still there. There's a lot of Virgo going on. And then all of those will make conjunctions with your placements as they move through their flow. But also the full moon is accentuating your house of Virgo. So you've got multiple Virgo energies. So this is really a time to revamp and revitalize your daily experience, your office space, your home space, your routine, your health habits, things like that. Okay, so now let's talk about the Aries Libra eclipse cycle, because I'm waiting, I'm letting actually, let's go back to the passion, purpose, and persuasiveness. So when you have all of these energies in your first house, I mentioned that Venus can do this. It makes you more persuasive. So something that you asked for before, if you go back and ask for it again, people may listen. If you're trying to say something or convey something and you've said it before, when you go to try it now, they may actually listen to you. You may have the gift of the golden tongue where you can weave with your words the understanding that you need to build a cord between yourself and others in a point of conflict, or just to deepen your relationships or to access something that you have been trying to access. Also, the energy of purpose is coming back around because all of these things are going over your ascendant point, which, as I said, is like your rebirth. This is like, here I am. This is what I'm doing. This is my identity. This is how I'm showing up. This is how I see myself as. So as the sun crosses there, as Venus crosses there, as Mercury is there, as Estrella is there, as Juno is there, all of these energies are supercharging your persuasiveness, your powers of your passion, the Leo planets are also helping with that, and also your purpose. Okay, so the Aries Libra eclipse cycle has been in effect since early 2023. It will go into the first half of 2025. This is a me versus we dynamic, learning about ourselves, deepening our autonomy, learning about others, deeper into relationships. All of these things are happening and they are a very big deal. Specifically for Virgo placements, this has been also building storylines that are in your second and eighth houses. These are your money houses. So a lot of shuffling around of your finances may be going on, losing certain income only to gain other income, inheritance money, estate planning, winning money, lotto, lawsuit money, your actual income, people owing you money and giving it to you, credit, debt, all of that is where these energetics have been. And they're going to continue shuffling things around, clearing karma, and trying to get you into your highest expression this lifetime in those arenas. So you'll notice that. So again, the first eclipse is September 17th. That's the lunar eclipse at 25 degrees of Pisces. That's a big one. We're going to go back and talk about that one last. But the October 2nd eclipse at 10 degrees of Libra is, continuing this process. And this is, really important to discuss in August because the eclipse season is 4 to 6 weeks before the actual eclipses. So that's why I'm talking about this in August and not waiting until September, because by September, you already would have probably had a lot of active things going on and wondering what the heck is going on here. So now we're in eclipse season and it's going to be busy. It's going to be a lot of change. It's going to be things looming. And with Mercury retrograde, you're not necessarily going to know how the things are going to manifest, but you're starting to feel that manifest. You may get news, but you don't know what it means. Or there may be an event, but you don't know what to make of it. So August, September, October, this information will continue to develop and you'll start to know more about what you're working with and what the options are and figure out what you're supposed to do with it. But for now, this is still kind of a sitting on the shore and letting news be delivered and observe until it becomes a better point to have more information to make decisions. So the last and most very important point here has to do with the Pisces Virgo eclipse cycle that is starting now and goes until early 2027. It doesn't happen very often that we get an eclipse cycle in our own sign, but when it does happen, it does bring profound change. And that change tends to happen in hot spots every 6 months over the eclipse times. And then we have a little lull where things go back into the unconscious and the subconscious more, and we work with what happened, and then they come up again, and then it kind of does this thing over the time of the cycle. And I'll talk more about these eclipses in the months that they are, but again, I have to mention it now so that you're prepared because the changes will likely start to come, or hints of them, or you'll start to feel it internally even before it manifests itself outside. And now you know what's going on. So 25 degrees of Pisces, that means that eclipse is going to happen in your 7th house of relationships, a relationship coming to a completion, a relationship coming to fruition, a relationship beginning, or going back to a relationship, a new chapter forming in relationships, your relationship with relationship changing. All of those things are part of what could happen here. And since this is a lunar eclipse, this is, a lot of drama, a lot of power, a lot of energy, a lot of elucidation. So something's coming to a head with you and you'll start to be able to see what you're working with and, clear the air. Now, this can affect all Virgo placements, but those of you who are in the later degree, you are more in the hot seat for the very, very radical changes, because unless you have other Virgo placements that I don't know of, like you'd have to run your chart to see. But from the, any Virgo placements that are near 25 degrees are going to be in direct opposition to this eclipse. So we'll give it 5 degrees, so like 21 degrees through the rest of the sign. So that's basically going to be like September 11th through the rest of the sign, and the days around 16th, 17th, 18th, that's even more intense. Okay, so what that could mean is these changes are more noticeable to you. For some of you, these changes could definitely be occurring, but not as obvious, not as overt, possibly not as dramatic. So it just depends. But the closer you have a placement to the actual degree of the eclipse, the more likely you are to get the boom. Okay, so there's a lot of ominousness around this that sometimes people can get afraid and say, oh gosh, I don't know what's going to happen. And certainly I have seen for myself and many other people, sometimes terrible cataclysmic things do happen at eclipse time that are completely life-changing and not what we want. That does happen. But equally as likely can be something you've always wanted, something you've been waiting for, something you've been trying for, something you dare not even dream can just get delivered right onto your lap. And certainly the opportunity to clear karma in the areas of yourself and your time here on the earth, your experience here, your relationships with money, all of these things have a chance for karmic clearing and a new slate, a clean slate. So if you feel like you're like in the muck and mire of, of those types of karmic interchanges or exchanges, then you may find that a whole bunch of patterns that you were working with forever just cleared away now. They're wiped clean. So that's the power of the eclipse time. And its goal is to get you into your highest expression by any means possible. So, if you see an opportunity opening, it may be something that you've always been supposed to do. And if you see an opportunity opening for something you've been wanting to do, it may be the universe giving you the support for that. All right, so I'm about to drop in the visuals, but before you all go who are not interested in the visuals, know a couple of things. The first thing is that sometimes I remember other things I want to share while I'm doing the visuals. So if you sign off now, you're going to miss anything that I think of there. The second thing is if you're signing off and you want to know more dates, I gave you a bunch of dates that are relevant, but if you want more dates, we've got like 19 nuisance aspects this month, ones that pass quickly, but they're annoying. We've got some really brilliant, awesome aspects, all stuff I haven't had time to go into because I had to cover eclipses and other stuff. But you can go to anniehelpsyou.com, put your email address and name in there, get the welcome letter, click on the archive link, go to August 2024 astrology in the search, and you can find my write-up of all the sweet and salty dates, things to know about them, etc. And I also have a double blue moon promo where when you register for my astrology certification course, you get every other course in my school for free. So that's running until around August 28th. You can check the site for it. You just go to anniehelpsyou.com, then scroll down to up level, then go to astrology certification course. You can go directly there to beastropro.com, beastropro.com. Okay, so for you all checking out, have a wonderful month. I'll see you next month. For those of you who want the visuals, I'm going to put those in now. Okay, so I'm just going to breeze through the things that we discussed so you can have a visual of them. And so the first thing is that this 12th house that we talked about, the Sun, Vesta, Venus, Mercury going retrograde, the new moon on August 4th, 12 degrees of Leo, all of that's happening in your 12th house. This point on the chart between the 12th and 1st house is so important because this is the line of individuation. The 12th house in this wheel that we go through all of this development, the 12th house is the cosmic soup where we're all one. And the 1st house is where we individuate into our individual baby unique self. And so anything that happens at that point in any of the charts that we look at is just a really critical point. And that's what happens at your birthday time. That's what happens when the sun crosses over your moon or rising or whatever you're watching for. So, this takes on very critical importance, because it's the beginning of a new cycle and it's taking this whole lesson of everything that's happened over this time and then bursting it into a new reality. So that's what's happening. And then as the month progresses, all those planets get into Virgo. Well, Mercury will be going in Leo and eventually get back into Virgo after in September. But Venus will go, the Sun will go, Vesta will get there over time. Astrea's already there, Juno's already there, and all of this energy is flooding your 1st house of rebirth, renewal, recognition, your identity. So all of that's happening there. The Aquarius area of the chart for Virgo is the 6th house, which is your house that you rule. Okay, so everything that's Virgo, there's already all this Virgo energy here. And then the August 19th, supermoon, full moon, blue moon, second blue moon in a row is also happening to accentuate that Virgo energy. All of this stuff we talked about already. The Aries Libra eclipse cycle has been happening in your 2nd and 8th house. This is shuffling up your money and resources and your viewpoints on them. Now, as we add the Pisces Virgo eclipse cycle, which will be starting now and going until around 2027, when the last eclipse happens there, this is going to be accentuating your 1st and 7th houses. That's where Virgo has Virgo Pisces polarity. That's me versus we, which is already the Aries Libra thing. So just more of me versus we. This is a time for the world to be restructuring relationships, and there's a special line of energy of that happening for Pisces, Virgo people. Okay, so that's what's happening there. We didn't talk about this, but Mars for the rest of August and Jupiter until June 2025 are expanding, bringing oomph into your work, career, employment sector. And I think that those are the things we discussed. So if you want more, which if I have so many more dates to give you as I outlined before, go to anniehelpsyou.com. Put your name and email address in. I send out weekly newsletters that are chock full of ways that you can use the energies that are happening now. And sometimes there are special promos that only my list will get. Sometimes you get early access to content. You get these free things going on. So you put, name, email, address in there, get the welcome letter, go to the archive link, put August 2024 astrology, and you will find my sweet and salty list. You can also see my double blue moon promo by scrolling down on that same page, anniehelpsyou.com. You can go to up level and then click on the Astrology Certification Course. That will pop up at up level. And then you can see all the details about how, when you register for that class, you get all the rest of the other courses in my whole school for free. That's my double blue moon promo. It will run till the end of August, somewhere around the 28th, or until slots fill. So if it's listed there on that site, then it's still going. So I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.